Stand up. Please stand up. The Cover 3 Deep Raider podcast. Oh, hold on. The Cover 3 Deep Raider podcast. So
For
definitely
those
you
of
want
you, yeah. For those of you that are listening and not visually, Dwayne is flexing in his
to
Cover 3D T-shirt, official
legitimately.
apparel.
And I just worked. I just worked out, so I'm really flexing
Yeah, yeah.
on this, man. There is a Instagram handle that you guys should definitely check out. It's silver and black design. They did the design behind me, and like the dude is lit. Vinny is the guy who does all the artwork. I mean, he even like has like Instagram lives where he can like show it. It's really people are so. I have no artistic ability whatsoever. But so I always give those guys props who can do that. I am Dwayne Douglas along with Sean Oahu Raider. We're gonna play a little cover 2 this week, not cover 3, because Monster Mash Ken could not join us. Our phone number, our text line is 858-429-9465. We have a lot of stuff going on today, so we might not get to those questions, but we will get to them next week if we don't get into them now. Thank you. The bunch of cities are listening to the Cover 3D Raider podcast: San Diego, California, New Haven, Connecticut, Tallahassee, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, and Butte, Montana. And I keep saying Butte, Montana. And guess who just moved to Butte, Montana? Did you see Twitter?
Kanye West. No,
No,
I don't.
Alvin Kamara. And he tweeted out, "I moved to Butte. I moved to Butte. I know I moved to Montana. Everybody, just leave me alone."
Interesting.
So interesting. So Alvin Kamara is out there. So Alvin, listen, by all means, listen to the Cover 3D Raider podcast. Maybe you might want to maybe want to change teams later on in your in your career. So really quick, the Raiders I made some news today. First, Tyrell Williams, who they cut, is now a member of the kneecap posse out there in Detroit. So so Detroit Lions have a new wide receiver. That might mean one of their free agent wide receivers is not coming back. I mean, that's probably what you have to say there. He was listen, the first 6 games I was like, Antonio Brown who? I was fine. I was fine with losing Antonio Brown. I think he had 6 touchdowns in the first 6 games, but he couldn't stay healthy, and that's the big thing between him and Trent Brown. The Raiders are trying to shop Trent Brown. We'll have to see if that happens. I don't know. I mean, when you try to trade somebody who people know you want to cut, it makes it a little bit more difficult. That's GM 101. Same thing goes on with Marcus Mariota, Sean. As far as that goes, what are your thoughts about them also cutting Gabe Jackson as well?
Oh man, I mean, I think we knew some things were coming. We didn't know at what level and how quickly. But free agency period's upon us, and the Raiders need to shop. They need to be heavy hitters. We need to get over the 500 mark. There's pressure on Mayock and Gruden to prove their worth to the owner, the organization, and hey, the people like us, the fans, and the players in that locker room that are fighting. So the Gabe Jackson didn't come as a gigantic shock. I think he's been a solid player. He's never really been an elite player at his position. Cable has done well in the offensive line, so I feel like they can they save some money there. I think about $9.3 million. That's a lot of money. Yeah. And they have options. Denzel Good played good in time, and maybe they bring Incognito back, but it had to happen. Trent Brown floated for trade. G-Wit, surprise. We thought he'd be gone before the trade deadline last year. So, yeah, they're going to float him out there. If he garners enough interest, they'll get what they can for him. And, Marcus Mariota, there's not a big market for him because Mariota's a backup quarterback. He has a good role with us. It's just he's at a high cost. So another team, if Mariota was healthy, this whole entire year we had him, and we had a preseason and no COVID, and people were like, "Ooh, he looks healthy and strong."
They can see more. They can see more. Yeah.
Or had he played the last 3 games of the season, and the Raiders said, "Hey, let's just either we know we have a good backup, or free agency, or for other teams we know we have trade value, but we got a small sampling of which positively he looked good for both sides, but it's just not enough for a team to bank a high draft pick for." So. It's a relatively quick start to free agency for the Raiders. A lot of pieces moving, man. It's fun.
You saw you mentioned Gabe Jackson. So while PFF isn't the all-being god of football, You want to see where you want to hear where he ranked since he's been drafted?
Not well, I would say, because I've
No,
watched enough games. He did not look good.
exactly. No, so 2014 he was 38th. 2015 he was 11th. Um, and this is just the PFF grade for
Right.
for a guard for his position. 2016 he was 26th. He was 32nd in 2017. 2018 he was 13th. So the 2018 was his best year. 2019 he was 41st, tied for 41st, and then he was 2020 was 39th as
Yeah,
far
I
as
mean,
as far as his grade. So I mean,
that-
he could be a power. He could be really more of a power blocker who's stuck in it with a team who wants to do both. You know, a little bit of zone, a little bit of power. So that could be it as well. What did John Feliciano say? Did John Feliciano say he was like Matt? He's happy to be.
Yeah, he said something along the line. I don't have it in front of me. Something like he's happy for him. Like, I'm sure my man's happy. Like, basically, like to be released. And I think we're seeing some of that, and a lot of it's attributed. And some people chimed in like, "What do you mean? It really means one of three people?" And he quickly basically said, "No, it's not Derek Carr, like that I'm talking about." So obviously he's not talking about the GM who's only been there 2 years. Gruden has some players buy into him, and some players are like, good riddance, I'm out. So that's what it sounds like. But when you said Gabe Jackson, when we're talking about that, we're talking about, a cheaper option who's probably in the same class of PFF, if not way off, Denzel Good.
And
then we're forgetting, we just got a nice late round pick in John Simpson, who was a very good guard at Clemson. And hey, if Cable's able to coach guys up and they have some confidence in Simpson, then you have something else there that's very cap friendly, and you have a couple options. So that's what the Raiders have to do. They have to build the defense and keep the offense in a good flow. But at some point, money, has to move.
Yeah, no question about it. So you want to hear a story about accountability from a high level organization?
Oh, I would love to hear it.
Okay. So here we go. So the last 20 years, right? There's a lot of teams out there, and you would probably say in the top 5 organizations winning and everything like that, you would put the Seattle Seahawks in that, right?
In the last how many years?
And not the last 10, 15 years, whatever.
Okay.
I mean, yeah,
okay.
no question about it. So, all right.
Yep.
So, excuse me if you hear a little raindrops. It actually rained in Southern California today.
I like that.
Sorry. But Paul Allen, the late owner of the team, big computer guy, really not a football guy, whatever. But he had this organization give him notes on every single play called, every game of the season. That is, I mean, he doesn't know more football than the offensive coordinators. He doesn't know more football than Schneider or Carroll or the quarterback. But think about that kind of accountability as the owner. That isn't good. That is, and the fact that they're that high level organization. It's kind of amazing to kind of talk about that. And we segue from that to this now. People are saying that Carroll has had once Paul Allen, who passed away, now Carroll is kind of getting too much power. And maybe that's attributed to this whole mix up or this whole lack of communication here with Russell Wilson. What are your thoughts about Russell Wilson? I mean, obviously, Russell Wilson's a better quarterback than Carr. I'm not gonna go to that part of it, but I just don't think these two teams. I think it's very difficult to move gigantic pieces like that. So I don't see that happening. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, there's optimistic Sean and there's realistic Sean, and if anyone knows me, like, Russell's been my guy. He's been my favorite quarterback to watch in the league for quite some time now. I just think it's a false reality at this point. I just think, it's a no-brainer. I don't care. People are like, well, Russell's 32. I don't care about his age. Oh, Russell costs this much. I don't care. It's not my money. I'm not paying him. He's an upgrade, and he would be a big star to pin in Las Vegas, but I just don't see it happening. I see this happens frequently with players of that pedigree, and his home is Seattle, and that's where he'll be. I just don't see it
Sorry,
happening right now.
sorry, Sierra.
Yeah,
Sorry.
if Carr had a slightly, if he wasn't as, depends how you look at it. If he wasn't as successful as the organization feels he has been under Gruden, then I could see it being a reality. But I mean, Mayock and Gruden just today. I mean, Mayock said, "Hey, I would stand shoulder to shoulder with Gruden, and we would pound the table to keep Derek Carr. We feel he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league." And if that's the case, then you're going to focus on the other leaking holes on the roster, which is the defense. And you brought a new defensive coordinator, and you're trying to prove yourself. So I love the name. The excitement's fun. But I don't see it happening. There's just nothing to say. Like, Carr doesn't have bad health. Like, he's in good health. He's 30 years old.
He plays every day.
Yeah, he plays. He shows up. I mean, that he checks certain boxes. There's other boxes that Russell checks that Carr will never check until he retires. But those aren't the types of things that are the variance between this team winning and losing.
Yeah.
I would be willing. If I told you, people are like 3 first rounders is too much. I don't really think that. I think if you want a great quarterback, that's what you're gonna have to give up. If it's anything less than that, you're working your way down the line. I mean, if I told you 3 first rounders, well, let's just take 1 year's draft: Cleveland Farrell, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Abram. Would you trade those 3 players for Russell Wilson if they were spread out over 3 years? Absolutely. No problem.
It's not a conversation.
But that's not where we're at. I think we're in a tough division. Mahomes is a star. Herbert looks very good out the gate. So you got to play stability with the organization. Of course, you listen. If someone calls or that you listen, but not realistic.
No, I don't think it's realistic either. And I think that there are some things that I think what I look at the fact that I really feel like they've done such a poor job of having a quality offensive play caller with Russell Wilson. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the stats between the two, Russell has more touchdown passes. Russell's going to also hold the ball a lot longer. Like some of the sacks he talks about, they are on him. Like, he does hold the ball for a long period of time, but
part of his game, absolutely.
It's part of his game. So you have to get used to that. There's a famous play with Pete Carroll where he says, where he's yelling at him, tight ends open, and then he holds the ball a little bit longer and he finds, the wide receiver for a touchdown. But he's like, hey, let's try the tight end. I mean, right off the gate, boom, off the line of scrimmage, it's a touchdown. So let's not take those hits if you don't have to. So now he's complaining about the hits that they're trying to get rid of. So we'll have to see about that. I mean, Derek, as far as passes over 20 yards, he had more last year. Passes over 40 yards, he had more last year. We know who the better player, but we know who the better player is. So what, in my mind, it would be more like, wow, with that play sheet, without any great receiver play, because I mean the offensive talent is more so on Seattle, right? I mean, you have
DK and Lockett.
Yeah, no question. So, and if they get anything from the tight end, I mean, I'm not sure if any of those players are Waller, but still, while Waller is kind of Waller and Aguilar, I don't think. I think maybe it's even when you really look at it. If you look at what the year last year, if you look at that happen. Mayock came on today with the reporters. Any prevailing thoughts about what Mr. Mayock said? I mean, I kind of would love to see just a Mayock draft and see how that would look, to be honest with you. Because I don't think any of these drafts are. I think it's just Gruden, and I think Gruden is I guess the famous saying was like the GM will always stop Gruden, the head coach, from winning games.
That's everything to me. I mean, a lot of them, Mayock is good at what he's saying to the media because he's a media member, and Gruden was a media member. So these guys are dancing around things that are crucial mistakes that they've made, whether it's all falls on Gruden or is a partnership between Mayock and Gruden's decision making. they're very good at playing like, well, this happened because of COVID, and well, because of this, we couldn't integrate what we wanted to. So, and they have to play their cards right for free agency. Players see these things, they chime in, they want the agents and media, everyone's kind of, hey, what are you guys? Why are you not there yet? You're almost at 500. So I don't take away too much from it, besides the fact that, of course, you're toying about Trent Brown, which we already know. It's kind of been out there for a while. Any major person we've had on this show that covers the Raiders understands Trent Brown is, expendable. But no, not much for Mayock. I do feel like the egg is on their face for some of these misses. And
Talked about it.
It's coach speak. It's coach speak, right? He talked about it. I mean, like Lynn Bowden, and to me, it doesn't matter if it's a COVID year or not, and a positional switch or not. You don't take a running back with or a positional gadget player with the first pick of the third round and then give up on them before the season even starts. If he's not ready, guess what? He can be on the 53 and on the sideline playing special teams. That doesn't mean you have to just trade, So like some of this stuff's a little.
He plays special with Miami right now.
Right, exactly, and that's fine. And that would have been okay. He's not ready. We're going to take our time with him. They said that with Mariota. They said that with other players they were devoted to. But then somehow, so I feel like they didn't want to admit that there was a personality flare up between them. There was an ideological thing, and Gruden was just stubborn and nope, get him off my roster, see what you can get for him. That's exactly what I think happened. And Gruden wanted Bowden. I don't think Mayock would have picked Bowden, but
no, I don't think. No question about it.
And that's a player I was happy to get. He was one of my favorite picks in the draft because I just loved his versatile skill set. But a lot of things Mayock is saying, it's coach speak, it's GM speak, everyone says what they want. When free agency starts coming, the players they say they love and care about could be dealt. So it's a business. So
yeah, it's no question about it. I'm not really. I mean, I think that's probably one of the things that I'm least. Like I listen to it just because I kind of have to.
Right.
if you have a podcast, but like
it's a formality.
There is no groundbreaking stuff you're gonna get from that at all. From it all. I mean, that's just the way the Raiders are built. So we talked about Good. I mean, I think that's the guy who they gotta think about signing. We talked about Simpson coming in there as well. So I mean, and then I don't know if they're gonna. He doesn't really make a lot of money. So if Richie Incognito does come back, I don't have a problem with it because he doesn't make a lot of money. And when he does play, he moves people out of the damn way. I think part of the running game issues, especially, I mean, he wants to run the ball down the goal line.
Yeah, A and B gap. That's Richie right next to Hudson. Yeah,
exactly. And maybe him with those two guards. I just feel like I know Raider fans are going to be disappointed, I think, because I just feel like once they get rid of Trent Brown, because you cannot bring Trent. I mean, I just don't see how you can bring him back.
Too much money.
He's only training these little training videos and all that stuff like that. It's only because it's for, hey, he wants to put it out there. Oh, it's the Raiders. It's not me. It's, we know it's a little bit of you, Trent.
I mean, and that's the thing is like
a lot of you, Trent.
We understand, an extra 50 pounds of you, Trent. That's really what it is.
Seriously.
But it a little bit of it is yes, like the organization has failed a lot of players. We know that. I mean, they got rid of players that didn't want to be there. We can argue about Cooper and Mack and all these other things, but honestly, it's really just about the fact that. It needs to mutually work enough, and it just hasn't. He's a great. No one's denying the talent, but that type of money and how well the offense played without him, that's when you realize you can do something, right? Like there's it. You see that you can now have a bigger gain by losing his cap and trading him, even if you trade him away for something small. But just getting rid of him opens the door to cure lesser, greater evils that dispelled this team down the stretch, which was not the right tackle. Like we did not fall apart because of the right tackle play. It was a defense. So, it's coming to an end. Hopefully the Raiders do get something. That would be crucial, I would think.